Hello everyone, I'm Jimson Lee for speedendurance.com, and today's video is how to use starting blocks, but more importantly, how to get a great start using starting blocks. Now, speedendurance.com had about 1.7 million visits in 2011, and it's been referenced on ESPN as well as Sports Illustrated. I'm also the co-author of the new book called The Rocket Sprint Start with Bud Winter, and everything on this video is in this book. So let's begin with the block setup. Now in this video, which is courtesy of a user named Kazak1023 on YouTube, let's check the block setup. Now you'll notice the right front block is about 45 degrees and the rear block is about the same. Now I personally don't like this. I think the front block should be about 45 degrees, but the rear block should be as low as you can go, and there's a reason for this, and it's called the stretch reflex, which I'll discuss later in the video. Now most professional starting blocks has about 4 settings for your block angles, and that's between 30, 40, 50, and 60 degree angles. Some are fixed, which is not good, but in this case, this runner has them both at about 45 degrees. And you'll notice as he starts backing up, so let's start the video. He has a similar pre-race routine like Jeremy Warner. He does one tuck jump in the air, which is good to activate all the kinetic chains of the glutes and hamstrings and quads, and takes 3 backward steps and crawls into the blocks. Now I'm going to pause it right here, and you'll notice one thing, that his toes or the top of the shoe is not touching the ground, and I would personally recommend that he has some contact with the track with the toe or the tip of the shoe. We call this risers in track, is when you start creeping up the starting block. And again, the reason for this is for proper shin angles and the stretch reflex, which we'll see in about a minute. Okay, so he's getting into his blocks and he's using an imaginary start line. Okay, let's pause it right here. Now this guy's pretty good. He has a slight lowered forward lean. You can see his shoulders are over the line, not on the line. His eyes are looking about 6 inches, imaginary, from the starting line. Now I would recommend about 12 to 18 inches, so his head is not as down. And also with his starting blocks, you'll notice it's about 2 steps from the start line to the front block, and about 3 steps from the start line to the rear block. And that's pretty standard, give or take a few inches or centimeters. That's a good starting point to get the best power output from starting blocks. In this picture, you'll notice his left shin is parallel to the ground, which is right, correct, and his left knee is just behind the starting line, which is around here, this hurdle hash mark that this runner is using. Okay, so now he's going to start. Now let's pause for a second. Now this is one part I hate about the American system, especially the college system, is that when the starter yells set, all the sprinters pop up quickly. Now there's no reason to get quick up in that position. In fact, you should be taking a deep breath and slowly rise to your set position, because the starter will never fire the gun until everyone is still in the set position. So when he calls set, just slowly go up, inhale, and rise. Now let's take a quick look at this set position, you'll notice both legs are about 90 degrees knee angle, and I would change the rear angle to be about 130 to 135 degrees. The front knee angle is fine at about 90 to 95 degrees, and his shin angle is about 30 degrees, which is perfect. Now, for weaker athletes, I really recommend that you use a more open angle, and a stronger athlete can have a more closed angle, like Asafa Powell has about an 88 degree angle on his front leg, and which is fine if you're a strong, explosive athlete. The closed or smaller angle, the more explosive you can get out. But for a younger, a weaker, or a master's athlete, you want that angle a bit more open because you don't have that same explosive power as a elite world-class sprinter. Okay, so let's start here. And you'll notice the hand moves first, then the leg. And pretty good. Now let's go back and look at that stretch reflex again. Let's go back right here. Right here. Watch that stretch reflex. See how that heel goes right back, the heel of the right foot. Let's see that again. Rises and right here. Bang. It's right back. Now, a lot of the new starting blocks are so high that there is no such stretch reflex. But in this case, the starting blocks is good to get that stretch reflex and more explosive power. Now let's look at leg recovery. Let's see that again. The first step is pretty good. This runner has a really good first step. Very low heel recovery, gets down to the ground quick. Now the second step is what I have concerns with. Look at his second step, his left foot. Look at the arc that he's going to produce on his first step. That's a huge arc right there. And second step, bang. Now what this means is it takes a longer time for that second step. And if you want proper block clearance, you got to get that second step down quicker. And this is where I talk about in my book about the Asafa Powell and the famous toe drag. And let's take a look at Asafa Powell video here, and we'll see what his first step, again, low leg recovery, right down. And second step, his left toe just scrapes the ground. There we go. Let's see that again. See, first step, which is great. And the second step, his toe just stays low, scrapes the ground, doesn't trip, and gets a great, quick step. Amazing. Okay. And that concludes the video. If you want to read more about how to use starting blocks and how to get great starts, read the Rocket Sprint Start, co-authored by myself and Bud Winter. It has the original book from 1960 in there, as well as the updated version, which includes detailed analysis of Jamaican sprinters. And that concludes the video. For SpeedEndurance.com, I'm Jimson Lee.